Hey everyone, Sparks back with another Goddess Victory Nikke video. We just had our 2.5 anniversary live stream, and there was a lot of really cool stuff announced in it. This is going to be a full breakdown of everything that they talked about, little Easter eggs, codes for free resources, plans for the future of the game, everything that's happening in the anniversary event. Let's just get into it. So, the first thing that they talked about was the popularity poll. Our girl Rappy Red Hood made it through. Should I have said Red Hood Rappy? You guys know what I'm talking about. It was a neck-and-neck race between her and Cinderella for a long time there, but I was rooting for Rappy, and looks like she made it. Sorry to all the Cinderella fans. Actually, truth be told, I'm a bigger Cinderella fan than a Rappy fan, but I really wanted to see what kind of a new skin we could get with Rappy, so I'm excited to see how that went. And in third place came Crown, and the favorite NPC, I was surprised it was Cecil, who I've actually always been a fan of, but I didn't realize she was that popular. And technically I didn't vote for her. She was going to be my second choice. I voted for Papillion, but either way, congratulations to her. Also, I was surprised at the regular Nikke. So they did a favorite SR, which was a niece, no surprise there. And then they also did a favorite R Nikke, and it was Soldier EG, I think, which I really thought that would have been like a shoe-in victory for Pine. But okay, sure. Anyway, after that, we got our first code of the night, which was code Tactical Bubble. I'll also put these all up at the end of the video so you guys can like see them all in one place, so don't stress too much on that. And then we got a little like preview movie for the new Little Mermaid event. And it kind of shows her like she's like lonely making these bubbles every day, and we get like little snapshots into like what the story looks like, including like a brief scene showing Mihara and Uni in it. And then I think we got a quick look at Mudfish and a brand new Nikke that was announced, which I'm assuming is going to be our handout Nikke for the anniversary event, but we'll talk about that in a moment later. And then we got the art for the new story, which looks great. And it's funny, in the live stream, they had to like censor Mihara wearing kind of like a sheer kind of like shirt, so she wasn't showing too much skin. But yeah, shout out to Mihara's new design. She looks great. Okay, what happened after that? New chapter with the heretic. So right after that, I'm kind of like looking through my notes as I'm recording here live. So we got a preview of the new, I presume this is like scenes from the new story chapter, and we see our new heretic, who is one of the four members. So I guess we've seen what, Behemoth, Leviathan, and now this chick here, who has a pretty spicy design. She's got a lower stomach tattoo. She's got that black goo all over her, kind of making her outfit like they all do. And then these two very large mechanical arms. I'll be interested to see more of her. I'm a fan of the design, and I think the direction they're taking all these new characters is really interesting with this new group of heretics. So I'm excited to see more of her, and I was surprised to see this character here in the anniversary live stream. I just like wasn't expecting her to pop in like that. Okay, so what happened after that? Oh, then we got kind of a big preview of everything, like a really brief preview of like everything coming up. It was just like a few seconds of all the new stuff, more or less, which we will get into more in detail as we go on, of course. And then they also showed us a preview of the new mini game, which is basically looks like Plants vs. Zombies. I've never actually played Plants vs. Zombies, but it was a very, very successful mobile game, and I'm sure that this is probably going to be a pretty fun mini game for Nikke. They, always are like upping the stakes on mini games. They're always really, really high quality, so I think it's going to be fun. What was after that? I'm referring to my notes here. Then we got our next code. So thanks, Missless, as well as the announcement of chapters 37 and 38, and kind of just showed us like some things that happened in like the new look for the outpost with like anniversary celebrations, etc., etc., that kind of thing. Also showed us some new optimization things. So new event, Road to Villain, chance to obtain Drake 3. So that's going to be like a rerun of Drake's skin, I believe. And then Let's see, it says new event, 5 times supplies, log in daily and upgrade Little Mermaid and Mihara bonding chain and obtain large amounts of development materials. Little Mermaid and Mihara bonding chain recruitment rewards, get upgrade materials and advanced recruitment vouchers based on the number of recruitments done. New stages in Lost Sector, Tribe Tower, double rewards in Interception and Simulation Room every weekend, extra daily mission rewards, and limited time skill reset. So, chance to reset your skills. So if there's any Nikkes that you haven't been using recently, make sure you reset their skills. That's definitely something that we all need to do, because I'm sure we have a lot of resources just sitting there in Nikkes that we don't touch anymore, just because that's kind of the nature of the game. So don't forget. Okay, what did they talk about next? I think this is when we got our voice actors. So here, let me just... so we had like a little word from the voice actors. And then we got a little more detail on our new Nikkes. So, Little Mermaid. So let's take a look at her kit here. So she is a Burst 1 support with a submachine gun, and she is code Wind, guys. Wind. Okay, so we were talking about this on my last live stream, and the natural thing would be to think that she was water because it was about bubbles, but then someone brought up a great point that her bubbles are actually liquid metal, so maybe she'd be code Iron, and I was like, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. But she's Wind. Wind keeps getting a lot of love, guys. Wind is getting pumped up. I mean, it was definitely the weakest element for a long time. It was basically like Black Shadow Scarlet and nothing else. And then we got the new Ava girls, which really, really helped out. But honestly, I mean, it probably can still use some more love. But Wind really, I don't think makes a lot of sense for Little Mermaid. That being said, as I mentioned on my stream before, the developer's primary responsibility is to balance the game mechanically as opposed to thematically. So whether she looks like a wind unit or not, if they say the game needs more wind units, that's what they're going to do. So I think that's a good thing. Of course, we don't get her full kit here, but we can see a little bit about her skill effects. It says Little Mermaid is a supporter Nikke who enhances the attack capabilities of herself and her allies. So we're going to get some type of, attack buff. She continuously attacks the enemy with bubbles, weakening their powers. So it looks like she's going to be providing buffs to us and then debuffs to the enemy. Burst 1 is very competitive. So we'll see what happens because it doesn't mention she has cooldown reduction. And cooldown reduction is pretty much essential. That being said, I can't imagine they're going to make Little Mermaid not meta, not like really strong, right? Because this is our big anniversary unit. So I'm sure she will be good, but we'll see what her full kit looks like, right? Let me know your thoughts on her. But like I said, buffs versus debuffs. Again, we get to see a little bit of her attack animations here. Her burst is very cute. She's like making a bubble, and a lot of these like water bubble effects around her as she's attacking. Anyway, then we got a preview of Mihara. We've all been waiting for her, and she is a Burst 3 attacker that uses a machine gun. MGs are generally quite good. She is a fire code. Not that fire needed any help. We have a ton of very strong fire units, and her skill effect descriptions say Mihara Bonding Chain is an attacker Nikke who uses a restraint chain to attack the enemy non-stop. Okay, so like continuous damage, and then her burst skill enhances the accumulated restraint chain, dealing increased sustained damage. So this is really key here, sustained damage. Crust is a sustained damage buffer. Whether Crust will be relevant or not, who knows? But they've definitely been pushing units with either sustained or distributed damages or both. And this is pretty predictable. I think I even said in my Crust skill analysis that we will likely get another unit in Anniversary that will, take advantage of her burst. Again, I don't know if that means if Crust will really be worth it, but this does make sense. Hopefully Mihara is quite strong, because I've always been a big fan of Mihara since day one, and her new design is fire, and I'm definitely going to want to use her. So we'll see how she does. Again, depending on if she needs a buffer or not for sustained damage, that remains to be seen. But either way, I'm pretty sure she's going to be strong. And her animations are crazy. Like that burst animation is peak. I think we're all going to be going for MLB. And then she gets all this dark energy around her and like the rods. Looks pretty dope. And then we get Mori. I've already said I really liked Mori's design. She looks super fun. I have to assume this is going to be our free Nikke. She is a burst 2 defender with an assault rifle, and she is wind type. So you could, in theory, pair her with Little Mermaid as your burst 1 and your burst 2. And her skill effects say Mori is a defender Nikke who protects her allies by creating a shield and taunting enemies. So, and right off the bat, that sounds like pretty promising, because shields are always very useful in Nikke. They can completely negate one-hit attacks. If it's like one giant damage, you can just negate that. They're also good for PvP, and she taunts, which again is very good in PvP, but can be useful in PvE as well, although sometimes it's a little bit more dangerous. Her next skill description says, whenever her shield is broken, her survivability is enhanced, allowing her to create an even stronger shield. So anytime a shield gets destroyed, she's going to make an even better shield, which is a really intriguing kind of idea. Sort of like the idea of like units that the more damage they take, the more damage they deal, except this is like from a defensive perspective. So whether a burst 2 defender is going to end up being like super impactful, kind of like needed Nikke, I don't know. But I think she definitely sounds like she has some promising ideas there. And I love how she's just got like donuts and bread flying all over the place. It's kind of hilarious. Okay, now we get a closer look at the Nikke skins. So our first one is Abyss Flower, Little Mermaid. And I gotta be honest, when I first saw this one, I was like, is that just Little Mermaid? Like I almost thought she looked exactly the same. It's not a huge difference. Basically, she just looks a little sexier, like she's showing a little more skin, but very similar to her normal design. She looks good in her normal design. She looks good in this. I think for me personally, that's probably going to be a pass, just because it's a very similar look to her normal outfit. And yeah, I think I'm probably good, but she does look good in it. The next one is Pain Eater, Mihara. We know Mihara is a masochist, so that's very appropriate. She is wearing what looks to be kind of like a wedding dress, albeit a very sexy one with like a corset. Her burst animation is extremely spicy, probably a little too hot for YouTube. I could see a lot of people pulling for this, although again, I kind of like Mihara's normal design better, so I'm probably going to pass on Mihara's skin as well. But it's I like to see that it's very different. Whenever you see like a new skin, I think having a significant change to the character's look is really important, and they definitely did that with her. And then we got a new skin for Grave. Grave is looking good. Again, pretty significant change to her look, although it's very much like an evolution of her current outfit. She's showing a little bit more skin. She ditched the helmet. Her head basically just looks like OG Abe, which is pretty cool. She's even wearing the glasses again, and she's like a little bit like more professional looking in a way. She's wearing like a suit. I like it. I'm a fan of the look. I might pick this one up. I'm a pretty big fan of Grave anyway. I can also see certain people who weren't like a big fan of her very muscular design might be more attracted to this one. Although again, I kind of liked Grave's original design, but I might still get that skin. I like it. And then we have a new Cinderella skin, which I definitely did not see this coming, because Cinderella is still a pretty new character, and Cinderella already has a gotcha skin. Okay, I have to say, just as another note here, I know You guys already know how I feel about the favorite character voting, but this would have been such a waste if Cinderella won because she's already getting yet another costume. If she also got the free costume, that would have really been a waste. But so we're getting a new outfit for Cinderella. It looks good. This is another one I might be skipping though. And don't get me wrong, she does look good. I think the leather jacket is cool looking. She has like this very cute big black bow in her hair. It looks like she's going out on a date night or something. But again, I'm a really big fan of her normal design. I may pick this one up, but this is kind of a maybe. I think the priority for me. Is probably going to be maybe Grave. I don't know. Which one is my favorite? Yeah, probably Grave. Probably Grave. And then maybe Cinderella or Mihara. I don't know. But anyway, all the skins look great. I have to say the quality of all of these look really good. Let me know which skin your favorite is. And if you're planning to pick up all of them, which, RIP to your wallet if you're doing that. But I wasn't expecting to see so many different skins, I can tell you that. Okay, what did we talk about next? Oh, then we got a preview of Gluttony, the new boss. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So we get to see kind of like a little preview of the fight with Gluttony. Always interested to see new bosses. They always do a good job designing new mechanics. We also get to see a little bit of the new Nikkes in action. So we see like Mihara and Little Mermaid and what's her name, which I just blanked on her name, fighting it. So that was pretty cool. What happened next? Oh, then we got more detailed skill demonstrations. Okay, so after Gluttony, the first skill demonstration that we see here is Little Mermaid. Says she is a supporter, enhances attack abilities of herself, yada yada. Same kind of info as we saw before. She continuously attacks the enemy with bubbles. So I'm trying to see if there was anything really key there that we saw. I don't know if there's any like real secrets revealed by that. Okay, then we got a skill preview of Mihara. Mihara Chain is an attacker Nikke. They don't give us a whole lot. The skill animations are kind of crazy. So you can see even while we can see a little bit more here from Mihara. So even while she's firing with her machine gun, these chains are always slashing the enemy. So that's kind of interesting. That must be coming from a skill there. Because then in the next animation of her, we don't see those chains slashing the enemy. So that's definitely like coming from a skill. It's probably part of her sustained damage effect. And then Mori, that's her name. So Mori, who protects her allies by creating a shield and taunting the enemy. We can see the shield over her health gauge right there. Shows up as like a little bit of a green aura in front of her as well. Whenever it breaks, her survivability is enhanced. Which surviving or shielding and enhancing survivability in general is very important for any Nikke that is taunting. So good, because we've had a bad experience before with Nikkes that taunt and then they just insta-die. Even Tia is at risk of that sometimes. Okay. Then we got another preview of fighting the boss. And then we got March of the Bubbles minigame. Again, I'm not someone who actually has experience with Plants vs. Zombies, but I'm pretty sure that's what this game is based off of. And they always do a good job with the minigames. Okay, now we got our voice actors. Okay, so I'm back on track with my notes here. So now we got a note from the voice actors. Voice actor for Little Mermaid, and a note from the voice actor of Rappy. Part of me feels like it wasn't actually their voice, which was kind of weird. It almost felt like it was a computer reading the script, which would be really strange since it's for voice actors. But like at some points, they pronounce like a silent K in words, that no normal person would do. So I don't know, it made me doubt that. So let me know your thoughts on the voice actors. I know some people are really big fans of voice actors, so this is like a cool thing, and it would be weird if it wasn't actually them talking in their little blurbs. So I don't know. It kind of threw me when I heard them like mispronounce words, because that would be very strange for a professional voice actor, right? And then we got a preview of the new song for the event, which I won't actually play for you guys because of YouTube stuff, and very cute animations though. Then we got our next code, Bubbles Paradise, yo. All right, again, I'll put these all up at the very end. And then we got a dev team interview. So this is where we get all of the actual like heads of their different dev team departments up here in their like coral reef set, talking about stuff. Some really notable things was they talked about the surface content. So they talked about this like a long time ago. I forget, maybe it was the last anniversary live stream where they previewed this new like surface game mode, and we still don't have a lot of details on it, but they said that it's going to be a casual game mode, and that all of the Nikkes are going to have unique skills, like kind of new types of moves that we haven't seen before. And it seems like it's going to be an actual like real-time like 3D adventure game kind of mode, because it says you're going to fight in the 3D environment, like directly on the 3D map. Like you're not going to like go into an encounter, into a battle mode like you do in the main game. So that's kind of interesting. I'm going to be very interested to see what happens with that. But again, they said it was going to be casual friendly. So let me know what your best guess is on that. But they didn't really show us anything in specific, but that was the most information we've gotten about it so far. Man, I'm starting to lose my voice. It's 4 a.m., guys. All right. And then they also said they're going to try and give us more development currency in the future. This is something that we've all felt. I think they mentioned this in the last dev note as well. So they're going to try and give us more ways to get more resources. And that's always a positive. I mean, no one's going to complain about more resources, right? I mean, skill manuals is a big struggle. Custom modules actually aren't that bad nowadays. I think if you have an advanced account, building up equipment is fairly easy, although I have to imagine that's still pretty difficult for newer players as well, especially if you haven't gotten to like the abnormal interception. So more resources will be good. They also announced, or they showed us some fan art. Some of that was really high quality. Shout out to all the artists. They also announced a new ASMR coming out, this time with Mihara. That is a very appropriate character for ASMR. Also talked about some new scale figures. Some of them are still pending approval by the licensors. Let me see if I can find images of the new figures. Yes. Okay, so we're getting a Little Mermaid one, and we are getting a Mihara one for her new skin, which I am kind of surprised about that as well. But I imagine that one is probably going to be very, very popular. And then a couple of events were announced, such as a booth at Anime Expo. No surprise there. And then they are going to be at a baseball game, which that was very surprising. I did not see that coming. So if you're in California, it is going to be down in San Diego, Padres versus Dodgers, which is probably going to be a pretty big game, and they're going to have exclusive Nikke merch there. So that kind of came out of left field, which ironically is kind of a pun, which I didn't even realize until right now as I was saying it. And then a brief announcement that there's going to be 2.5 anniversary rewards in blah blah. That's Nikke's official community that was just recently went live a couple months ago, so you can get new avatar frames there for the anniversary. Little nod to the fact that Stellar Blade collaboration is coming in June. I think they didn't want to talk about this too much, not to steal their own thunder. We already knew about this, but just a reminder about that. Then they ended the live stream with this kind of recording of this artist doing art underwater, which was Also kind of surprising, but pretty cool. Definitely a unique concept to see like a scuba diver doing art underwater. Very cool. I don't know. They come up with creative stuff. So, props to Shift Up for that. And then we finally got our last code here, and I'll put the rest of them up here on screen as well. So lots of rewards for you guys to redeem. Don't spend the 2.5 anniversary event item, or at least I hold on to those. I have a collection of those in my inventory. Okay, so that is everything from the live stream. Thanks for hanging out through this marathon of a video. 2.5 anniversary hype is real. I'm looking forward to it. We got a week to go, guys. Let me know what your favorite thing announced was. For me, it's probably, honestly, like new campaign stages. What is it, 37 and 38? I'm really excited to see where the story goes, and of course the actual 2.5 anniversary story event, and then probably the release of new Mihara. So those are probably the things that I am most excited about, but I'd love to hear from you guys what you are most excited about. If you haven't already, please give me a subscription. That would really help out the channel. Give the video a like if you want to see more videos. I'll catch you guys in the next video or stream.